everyone. This is a thanks for tuning in. Oh, I probably should have did a little prep work on that. Make sure that that's sticky. Okay, well, now you know that it is. It's not always um, preset as far as making sure everything is in place. Although I think production-wise, that wouldn't be a bad idea. So there we go. That's for that. Keep that in place. And so yeah, so I'm finally, thanks again. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you are happening to be watching this on Facebook, a follow would be appreciated. Of course, to my patrons, thanks for your support. And I think that is it. Usually, eventually, after a long period of time, I archive everything on my website, michelotlully.com, or micheloartworkstudio.com. But if you just put in michelotlully.com, you'll get to that. All right, so I'm finally getting to. I don't want this to be too long, but at the same time, I want to be fair to the arachnic community. And so, because they, growing up, and hopefully I'm getting the right terminology. I always wanted to be I think I always wanted to get into, I think is it etymology or entomology? I know one of them is study of words and language, and the other is insects. And hopefully I'm getting that right. If not, you'll see the correction in post. So you'll see something overlay whichever terminology is right. Nonetheless, I just was always fascinated with insects. Not that I wanted to befriend them and have them all inside my house, but just fascinated by their infrastructure, the way they've been designed and created, and so I've just always found that just fascinating, and then at the same time terrifying to some degree, because some insects, if they were even half the size of an average human being, they would wreak havoc. Okay, so this is going to be spider web. I'm trying to do where, let me see, where can I, yeah, okay, let me just slap something down here. Oh, that's really heavy. Didn't necessarily want it to be that heavy, but we'll work with that and see where it goes. So this is just raw as far as, I mean, everything. I don't know why I said as far as, but I'm just no preconceived, and maybe I should have a layout as far as where I'm going to go with this. So these are just some wandering happy branches, and just to give a framework, of spider doing some real estate, and it's like, man, where can I park my my RV for the weekend? And so we'll see how this works out. Of course, what I have been inspired by has been from actually like window panes, and so so it's usually square, and maybe I'll do that, but in my mind I was like, man, it's kind of hard to visualize that artistically for me, at least in my mind. And so and since I've run into so many spider webs from tree branches, I figure, hey, let me just do one as such. So there we go. Just should be sturdy enough to maintain my web structure. And I don't know, nowadays there's not a whole lot of time for a lot of things, But if you do have a time and you're not absolutely terrified of arachnids, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct. Man, it's just a blast to see them work. And I think I was either 10 or 11 when um, I think I spent about, I want to say, uh, whew, man, I don't know, 45 minutes just watching a spider, do the web. Didn't watch all the way because I was like, okay, because, you know, they're not just like, I mean, it's like boom, boom, each line, um, octagon, or what dexicon, I don't know, but each line is just so accurate and precise. I'm definitely not going to do them justice. Now, what I do know, they usually have anchoring points, and I believe sometimes they'll have, and I'm going to do an anchoring line from here all the way here. So that'll be their sort of his line, and he's probably camping out right about here out of sight, but that's going to be his trigger line if somebody hits, and it's going to be like doom, doom, doom. And then from there, and usually, I'm trying to think, I'm trying to recall, I think they start from the outside in. No, I think it's from the inside out. I'm trying to rack my memory banks. No, yeah, I think it is from the inside out. They work that way. But no, they have to anchor. Yeah, because I know they do the anchoring points voice, and then they come. Yeah, so anyway, so that'll be an anchoring point there, and then this will be, say, a secondary anchoring point. Because usually they'll have two 2 points of exit. If something happens, they can exit from here, or however. So, but anyway, it'll be my sort of because it's 7 minutes my rendition. So whether they start from the middle or the outside, I'm going to start from the inside. And I may stop talking for a little bit. So sorry for all of those who will be like, hey man, keep talking. So I'm going to put another point there. Here we go, another point here as well. And then maybe there's a point here that goes off, that just goes off into the distance. Something up there. Okay, so and here we go. So I hope you guys have been having a great, I don't know, summer. Either going to the pools or going to the beach. I'm not a big beach guy myself, and it's just because the heat, being born and raised in the Bahamas, I've had enough heat and beach. But it's still, real fun to go chill, hang out, whatever. But whatever you're doing, hope you're having a fun time doing it. So this is going to be, I can already see this is going to be a rough one for me. I don't know how well it's going to, go, because it's just, doing lines. But I will study more, even more, and this one, I don't know, I think this one may be a little bothered. So the center, it's like core, it's strong, whatever. I mean, everything is strong, but usually when a web is bothered, it's usually the outer perimeter that starts to pull away. And then it, depends, and then it collapses. So, I'll try to at least make this, entertaining to some degree. Or I don't know, maybe just pleasant, just seeing some lines and a octagon, hexagon pattern being created But I tell you what, though, seeing it firsthand, it is. If there was like a spider foreman, he would be like reeling in my head, like, "What are you doing? You know that line is not straight. Disappointment, disgrace to the arachnid community." You know, but yeah. But yeah, so this one is going to be, say, a little battered, and it's not because I'm kind of doing a okay job. Just wanted to, give it some character. So maybe this is from some wind or a larger piece of um, flying, insect got in, maybe a cricket or something, and there was like a tussle, and with the spider, if the spider was, uh, you know, um, bold enough to uh, take on like a captured creature to that extent. So here we go. Have some tears and stuff like that. Maybe there should have been more here. I've kind of destroyed my mechanical pens drawing on watercolor paper. So anyway, this is the first one, and let this be a test to those who are like, oh man, should I start something? And and like I've said before, you don't necessarily have to record something and post it. But if you just want to just draw something, or you want to knit something, yeah, just go ahead and do it, you know. And you will improve just as you go. The only thing I had in mind was, okay, maybe I can move in a way that the spider would move and stuff like that, and I don't really see that working out. Let me have another line going that way. There we go. But I am having fun with it. But honestly, just in my mind's eye, I am yeah, just honestly, I want a little bit more, I may try the other one. I think I'll try with the brush pen, because that way, because I don't, plus I have a lot of light on this, so hopefully it's catching these lines. Um, I just don't want it to be like, man, what are you doing? You know. So here we go. So this is kind of straggly. If anything, this is kind of broken. That wouldn't really be there, so to speak. So there's like one kind of off in the wind, blowing like there. This is strand loose, blowing in the wind. Okay, a little notch point there. Maybe, it was getting tired and it's like, oh man, okay. A little notch there, or, little wrapped up trophies. There we go. On that line. So it's not really that fattered. I think I'll work on other pieces that don't necessarily have to be this big either. So yeah, let's see. That's 14 minutes. Okay. Let me get the brush pen out and just add like maybe, because if it is weathered, then there's probably little pieces of discarded um, carcass wrapped up shells of their past meals littered about, so yeah, I think that's enough right there. Yep. And yeah, I think the other one, I just was trying to, keep lighter lines, but, I'll get more creative and expressive with some lines. But I wanted to still have that realistic ish touch to it. And so but I am going about it very quickly, and normally spiders won't, they don't move this quick. I mean, they get in a groove. You should see them. They're like do 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 do. And but I still think I was moving fairly quickly. So a little anchoring, yep, a little anchoring, extra anchoring strands. There we go. And yeah, and like I said, maybe you'll put like a little guy right here, just camped out underneath the branch, as because there are other insect where spiders will prey, and then they will be preyed upon also. So just put something right there. It's just camping out, waiting. Has that strand that when it vibrates, they know where to go. So, all right, 16 minutes, the very first one. I'll put number one, the first one. All right, guys, thanks for spending 17 minutes. Hopefully that made sense. I think I may just upload this just as a straight video, and not a photo too. Who knows? But anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to support what I do, you go to patreon.com/MrLowLully. And like I said, YouTube, just subscribing does a whole lot. Liking, it's very tiny channel, but every little bit helps. And yeah, so it's only up from here because this is kind of like lopsided. But like I said, it's weathered, so it's not like one that was just created. And I have some other ideas of just even going beyond what the natural creation webs would look like. And so, but this was just a raw first cut, well, no cut actually, just recording. And thanks for taking the time and watching it. Until next time, grace and peace.